Once a small fishing village on the southern coast of Sri Lanka, Hambantota is now home to one of the country's most controversial infrastructure projects, a deep-water port built and financed by China. It is a story of ambition, debt, and geopolitical tensions, with Hambantota at the center of it all. Welcome to Amazing Projects. In today's video, we will be diving into the controversial waters of the famous port funded and appropriated with Yuan. The idea of a port in Hambantota was first proposed by Sri Lanka's former president, Mahinda Rajapaksa, in 2002. At the time, the country was still reeling from a long and bloody civil war, and Rajapaksa saw the port as a way to jumpstart the economy and create jobs in the impoverished south. But the project was stalled for years due to lack of funding and political instability. In 2007, China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, a subsidiary of China Communications Construction Company, expressed interest in developing the port. In 2010, CHEC signed a $1.4 billion deal with the Sri Lankan government to build and operate the port for 35 years. Under the terms of the agreement, CHEC would finance 85% of the project, while the Sri Lankan government would provide the remaining 15%. Construction began in earnest in 2011, and by 2012, the port was completed. It included not only the deep-water harbour, but also a container terminal, a fuel bunkering facility, and an industrial zone. But even before the port was fully operational, concerns were raised about its financial viability. For one thing, the port was located in a remote and sparsely populated area, far from major shipping routes. Moreover, Sri Lanka already had two major ports in Colombo and Trincomalee, which were underutilized. Some economists and analysts warned that the port would be a white elephant, a massive and costly infrastructure project that would never be profitable. These warnings proved prescient. By 2017, the port had run up a debt of $8 billion, more than Sri Lanka's entire annual revenue. The government was unable to make the payments on the loan, and in December of that year, it was forced to hand over control of the port to China on a 99-year lease. The deal sparked outrage in Sri Lanka, with many accusing the government of selling off the country's sovereignty to China. Some even compared the port to a modern-day version of the Dutch East India Company, which once held a monopoly over trade in Sri Lanka and other parts of Asia. But the port's problems did not end there. In 2019, Sri Lanka's economy was on the brink of collapse, with foreign reserves dwindling and the government unable to pay its debts. The country turned to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, for a bailout, but the IMF imposed tough conditions, including cutting government spending and raising taxes. As part of its austerity measures, the Sri Lankan government decided to sell off some of its state-owned assets, including the port of Hambantota. But the only buyer that expressed interest was China Merchants Port Holdings, another Chinese state-owned company. In July 2019, China Merchants agreed to pay $1.1 billion for a 70% stake in the port, with the Sri Lankan government retaining the remaining 30%. The sale was seen as a further sign of Sri Lanka's increasing economic dependence on China. Critics warned that the country was falling into a debt trap, with China using its economic leverage to gain strategic advantages in the region. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating topics and amazing projects. Also, tell us in the comment section what topic you want us to cover next. See you in the next video.